Parashat Hashavua, Acharei Kedoshim. Parashat Hashavua, Acharei Kedoshim. So the last 2 days we've started learning first about Acharei and Yom Kippur. Yesterday we read the first part of Kedoshim. We learned about how important it is to be towards others, and now we are going to continue. We're going to continue learning about the respect of the elderly, of people who are older than you. Now I know so many people in our class are so good at that and have already gotten emets for derech eretz because they have shown such respect to the morot. An old man dressed, and again, this is going to be a story that teaches us about the Parsha. This story is not in this week's Parsha. It is a story that's teaching us the lessons of this week's Parsha. An old man dressed in torn clothes stepped onto the bus. He looked around for a place to sit and rest his weary legs, but could not find a seat that was empty. Yoni was sitting comfortably in the second row. He noticed the man looking for a seat, but he thought to himself, he does not seem to be a Talmid Chacham or anyone important. Surely I don't have to stand for him. What Yoni did not know was that the Torah commands us to stand up for anyone who's older. The Torah does not tell us to stand up for a rich person or an important person or just rabbis or righteous people. The Torah expects us to show consideration for any person who is of an older age. Even a poor beggar should be treated as a human being, because they are a human being. Every single person was created by Hashem. Rabbi Blau entered the shul and looked for a place to sit. All the people were davening, and no one noticed that Rabbi Blau was standing. Shmuley, however, did realize, but he thought to himself, Rabbi Blau is a Talmid Chacham, but he's young, and he could stand on his feet. I don't have to give him a seat. Shmuley was wrong. The Torah commands us, show respect for the old. However, Zakein does not refer only to an old person, as Zakein is also someone who has a lot of wisdom, like old people. One who learns the Holy Torah gains a lot of wisdom, and so he too is considered a Zakein. The right thing for Shmuley to have done would have been to give up his seat for Rabbi Blau. That also includes your parents, your grandparents, your aunts and uncles. They're wise, so they deserve the respect from you. Not to be interrupted, not to be corrected, and to stand and give them kavod. And also when they ask you to do something, to help them the first time. Hashem is our beloved Father. All of us Jewish people are His children. Imagine the nachat and joy that parents have when their children get along and treat each other nicely. Imagine how He hurts and the pain the parents must feel when their children fight or do not consider each other's feelings. So too, with our Father in Shemayim, we are all His children. Let us give Him the nachat and joy of seeing us treating each other with respect, love, kindness. Let us not bring Him pain by fighting, bearing a grudge, or taking revenge. Let's remember that the Shekhinah itself rests when there's peace. So Yeladim, after this video is over, I'd like you to go find something you can do in your house for someone else that lives there. Whether it's to go help a brother or a sister, or if you have a grandparent who lives with you, or if you have or of course your parents, find a way that you can make the world a better place by doing a mitzvah for somebody else. It will give Hashem such nachat, not only your parents, to see you do a beautiful mitzvah, and then your parents could write me a mitzvah note and we could talk about it on Friday. Time to come home, Yechiel. Yechiel's mother called from an open window. Yechiel was playing outside with his new Super Ball. He heard his mother calling him, but he continued playing. I hope this never happens in your house, Yeladim. A few minutes passed, and again his mother stuck her head out the window and he called, Yechiel, I want you to come in right now. Yechiel wanted to continue playing, but he knew that his mother would be very angry with him. He stuck his ball into his pocket and he climbed up the stairs to his home. We're going to the shoe store to buy you new shoes, his mother said. Your old ones are getting small on you. I don't need new shoes, said Yechiel. My old ones are still good. Yechiel did not enjoy going shopping for shoes with his mother. His mother usually chose strong shoes that lasted a long time. Yechiel preferred light shoes or sneakers, which were more comfortable and helped him to run faster. He remembered the last time they had gone shopping for shoes, it had taken hours to find a shoe that he liked and his Ema liked. Really, Ma? These These shoes are perfect. They're not even a bit tight. Just then his father entered the room. He caught the last part of the conversation. He said, Yechiel, the Torah commands us to honor our mothers and our fathers. Yechiel interrupted his father's words in mid-sentence. I know that. That's why I don't want you to spend your money on shoes when my old ones are perfectly fine. Let me finish, said his father. The Torah commands us to respect our parents, which means to do what they say. Aside from honoring them by not sitting in their seat, calling them by their first names, or, again, Yechiel interrupted, that's why I call you Mommy and Tati, right? He asked. That's right, said his father. But there are other things which you may not know, but are just as important. You must not contradict your parents. We must not argue with them. When our parents are talking, we must be careful not to interrupt them. At this, Yechiel's cheeks turned pink. His father let the message absorb, and then he continued. Your parents know what's best for you. If Mommy wants you to buy new shoes, you go along happily and say thank you. Yechiel regretted now that he had not obeyed his mother as soon as she had called him in, and he felt bad that he argued about his shoes. I'm going to try harder from right now on, okay, Mommy? He asked. And of course his parents hugged him tight, and he said, we know you will. You're a good boy, Yechiel. So the next part of the Parashat teaches us about gifts for the poor. Tovia was a farmer who owned a large field in which he grew wheat. Tovia worked hard in the field, planting the seeds and caring for it until it grew. When it came time to harvest, collect the wheat, Tovia gathered his workers and said to them, the time has come to harvest the wheat. But before we do, we must review the halachot that we must keep when harvesting. The Torah commands farmers or anyone else who owns a field in which crops grow to leave a portion at the end of the field not touched. The crop that grows there should be left for the poor. This is called piyah. Why should we leave the pa'ah in the middle of the field? Asked one of the workers. Hashem wants us to live it in a designated spot. This way, the poor people will know where it is and will not have to search for it. The second mitzvah the Torah commands us is called leket. When gathering the wheat, if one or two stalks falls out of the arms to the ground, we must leave these stalks on the ground. This is so that the poor people may collect it for themselves. The third one is if we accidentally forget to collect one or two of them, we must not return later to collect them. They should be left to the poor. Tovia and his workers began harvesting the wheat when suddenly one of his workers remembered something. Didn't you tell us last year about mitzvot pertaining to the vineyard when gathering grapes, he asked? That's right, said Tovia. These mitzvot are very important. Grapes that fall while we gather them should be left for the poor. What are olet? Asked one of the olilot, asked one of the workers. Tovia was pleased that he had such serious workers who were careful to do the mitzvah. He explained this mitzvah. He said they are small clusters that contain only a few grapes. These are not ripe yet during harvest time and therefore cannot be eaten. These must be left for the poor. They will come later to gather them. Tovia and his workers worked all day long harvesting the field. They left a portion untouched at the end of the field, and all through the field lay single stalks of wheat that had fallen or that had been forgotten. Early the next morning, the poor would be happy to see that there was a nice amount of wheat left for them to collect. Before the Jewish people entered Eretz Yisrael, Hashem commanded them to plant fruit trees as soon as they arrived. When you arrive to the land, you find trees that have been planted by others. You may eat the fruit and enjoy them, but you must also plant trees for the children to enjoy in the future. Another way that the Jewish people in the time of the Beit HaMikdash would honor Hashem was by bringing to Yerushalayim the first fruits that grew on the trees. The first 3 years that the trees grew fruit, it was forbidden to eat the fruit, since they are not considered to be good quality. The best fruit begins to grow at the start of the 4th year. The first fruit that grows on each tree when it is 4 years old is holy. The people would take the fruits to the Beit HaMikdash and eat in there. Today, instead of bringing fruits to the Beit HaMikdash, we take a coin and declare to the holiness of the fruit that should transfer to the coin. Then we throw the coin into the sea and rub it out so that it can't be used. This is done only in Eretz Yisrael. Only in the 5th year is the fruit no longer considered holy and can be eaten anytime. Hashem created such a wonderful world for us. He gives us plants, produce, and animals in just the right amount so that we have what we need. There are also some people who think that Hashem created was not enough, so they think they need more. But Hashem commands us that we are forbidden to make certain mixtures or to change anything that He created. The Torah forbids us to plant 2 kinds of seeds in the same hole in the ground. A gardener who wants to plant beans and peas in his garden may not plant both of them in one pit. This is called kilayim. Doing this would create a new kind of species and would be considered changing something that Hashem had created. The Torah also forbids us to mix 2 kinds of fabrics, wool and linen. This is called shatnez. The clothing we wear is forbidden to be made of these 2 fabrics together. If, for example, someone wears a woolen jacket that was sewn with linen thread, he is doing the avera of shatnez. Today, there are special shatnez laboratories which examine garments to see if they contain shatnez. Okay, Aledim, so that's the end of this week's Parashiot. And tomorrow we're going to do our questions.